What if the Yankees actually went all in this offseason? Not rumors, not half measures. I'm talking real signings. Between Bryce Harper, Kyle Tucker, Pete Alonso, and a few others, I'm going to give what I think is the best 7 players for the Yankees to target this offseason. And if Brian Cashman and company have the guts to pull it off, then this is what it could look like.
Downtown goes Frazier.
Welcome to Life After the Show podcast. Now, as I called it in the last episode, Life After the Season. So, as you guys know, this is a podcast that predominantly we will cover the Yankees. Occasionally, we'll talk about other things, but right now, with the season being over for the Yankees, we've got a few things that we can cover. So, something I want to get into is a couple players that I think, in my opinion, that the Yankees should go after this winter. Now, I'm going to give a list of at least 7 players. 6 of them will be free agent players. 1 will be a trade scenario. So, obviously, before we get completely into it, I know that not every single one of these guys is going to be feasible to get. But it's fun to dream about. It's fun to think about. And you know, maybe they could go out and get a couple of these guys and the season just turns around completely because the players that I'm going to mention can change the season completely next year. So, where do we start? I mean, I don't even know. I got to look. I've got a list of people on this docket that I wrote out. A couple guys, in my opinion, that will be teams that or players for the team that can completely change the dynamic of it, the look of it, the feel of it. So I think that if you go out, you get maybe 2, 3, or maybe 4 of these guys, you're going to have an offseason that has fans jumping. So when the season starts next year, if you have a different look to the team and a couple of these guys that I'm going to mention are on it, wow. Talk about a facelift for the Yankees. So let's just start with it. This is my number one priority guy right here, okay? Might not be what everyone else thinks, but my priority guy that I would love to see. So as I mentioned a few times in the past, there's a couple players that come to mind whenever you think of the players that go out. They have postseason experience. They're hitters. They have power numbers. They're great teammates. And overall, they're just somebody that once you put them in that lineup and out on the field, they're difference makers. And number one on my list is Alex Bregman. Now, if you think about it, Yankees fans are still a little bit burned from that 2017 Astros team. So I don't know if majority of the Yankees fans would love this signing or if they'd welcome this signing. But in my opinion, you got to let bygones be bygones and just move on. Alex Bregman is at the top of the Christmas list for the Yankees. For me, he's a guy that you're going to have to pay him. You're going to have to pay him a lot of money. But he's a third baseman that has a proven track record of going out there, hitting for a high average, high OPS, plays good defense, and ultimately shows up in the playoffs basically every single time that you go out there and put him in there. So I think if you ask me, Alex Bregman's got to be at the top of the list. I mean, you got Ryan McMahon, a guy that you traded for last season. You know, I think his contract is $32 million. And if you think about it, like $32 million over the next 2 years. So for me, that's a little expensive for a guy that's a little bit of a defensive replacement, not going to go out there and really just put the numbers up that you need for your everyday third baseman that the Yankees are used to having in the past. So Alex Bregman is a guy that, yes, McMahon's contract is offered at least $32 million. Might not be perfectly, and that might not be exactly what it is, but I think it's around that number. McMahon's contract is owed around $32 million, and there is a good chance that Alex Bregman could be somewhere in that same range per year. I mean, he could go out, get anywhere from 28, 30, 40, who knows? I don't know how much money this guy's going to get. I mean, he's a player that, you know, he's still relatively young in the everyday human aspect, but in the baseball world, they're going to probably deem him slightly old. He's not old at all. They're just going to try to hold that over his head. But if you ask me, that guy's going to go out, probably warrant 5-6 year contract. And I don't know. I mean, I have in my docket written, and look, again, I'm not perfect with these things. None of these numbers that I say have any factual, reason to believe that they're going to come true. It's just my prediction. So what I have written in my docket is maybe 5 to 6 years, somewhere in the 150 to $180 million range. So that's a lot. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, guys. But, it's worth it. It's one of those guys that I think you get him in your lineup and it will make fans excited. I mean, it will fill a need in that lineup that the Yankees desperately have. I mean, they genuinely, like I've said, they need a guy that's going to go out there and be very, very predictable in terms of what he's going to do. You throw out some of these younger guys or maybe a guy like Ryan McMahon and you hope that they'll do what you want them to do, but a guy like Alex Bregman, I mean, you know what he's going to do. I mean, the guy just goes out and he just plays ball the right way. So, at the top of my list, like I said, Alex Bregman. You got to go out and get that guy. I think you have to. It's one of those scenarios where you really probably should offer him whatever you think other teams are offering and maybe a little bit more because, there's other players out there that right now that are performing in the postseason or for other teams where the Yankees were in the mix and they could have given them a little bit more, but they didn't. And now you're watching these guys shine in October while a lot of fans are sitting back thinking, damn, we could have had that guy. I want them to do it. So, in my opinion, Hal Steinbrenner is going to have to open up that checkbook and give this guy what he wants. And I would be a fan of this signing probably more than any of the signings that I'm going to say for the rest of the day. So, number 2, I have as a trade scenario. Now, if you guys have been following, you saw that Dave Dombrowski has made some comments about Bryce Harper recently. He made some stuff saying something along the lines of like his season wasn't as elite last year. Can he get back to that? And then you come out and you see that Bryce Harper's a little upset about it, says he hasn't spoken to Dombrowski since the season ended, and that's upsetting to him. And then Dombrowski comes back out and he's like, we're not trading Bryce Harper. Well, the fact of the matter is that Bryce Harper has a full no-trade clause. So if they were to try to trade him, he can veto anyone that he wants. But it's always fun to play the what ifs. I mean, a few years ago when Bryce Harper was a free agent, every single Yankees fan wanted him. So I could see the potential of not wanting him or wanting him. But if you ask me, you got to get him. And so what better than to play the what if trade scenario that I saw on my Twitter timeline? And at the top of it was Ben Rice. And I saw a bunch of people, mixed opinions, a lot of mixed opinions, and people being like, I wouldn't trade Ben Rice straight up for Bryce Harper. Well, this guy would. So, I mean, if you think about it, Bryce Harper has 6 years left on his deal. Ben Rice, I think, has 5 to 6 more years of control. Ben Rice is obviously going to be significantly cheaper. You can dream on what he's going to do. But as what I said about Bregman, you know what you're going to get from Harper. And, Ben Rice does play catcher, does play first. Don't want to give up a guy that's a little more versatile in that sense. But I think with the fact that again, like I said, this is a potential trade scenario. Like no one on the Yankees or the Phillies have came out and been like, this is a combo of a name that we've had with each other. Obviously, what if scenario. So if it were to come up and Cashman and Dombrowski were to be speaking in terms of what players fit the mold the best, and it was a 1-to-1 scenario, and Bryce Harper was the option, and Ben Rice was the option, I'm trading Ben Rice all day for Bryce Harper. The reason being is, again, the track record speaks for itself. Left-handed here in the Bronx, very, very well performer in October. I mean, the guy is just somebody that you want to have. So, I mean, I think that Yankees fans would love that. I think some would be like, hell no, we don't want to trade Ben Rice for that guy. But in reality, like if the season came around next year and you've got Bryce Harper playing first base for you in New York, who's going to be mad about that? Nobody. I mean, I think it's $26 million a year is what he's got on his deal. That's easy for me. That's chump change. Again, as I said in the last episode, that's just a chicken finger basket at Yankee Stadium. I mean, the fans are lining up left and right out there to buy those things. And so I think you just load them up, get the fans what they want food-wise, and Bryce Harper's paid for right there. The jersey sales, the ticket sales, everything. It'll pay for itself. So I'd love to see that scenario. I don't know if it's going to happen. I do think that if that scenario did come up and the Phillies did agree to trade Bryce Harper, I think that could be a landing spot that he would waive his no-trade clause for. I mean, that would be crazy. So the Bronx would be jumping. Can you imagine? Alex Bregman being added, third baseman, throwing the ball over to first baseman Bryce Harper. Who's going to be mad about that? Nobody. Nobody. So we'll go in at number 3 on my list. Number 3 is another guy that I think that fans could dream on. Now, he is an interesting option in the sense of he doesn't really have a natural position. So if you're into another player that's going to go out and hit 50 homers and make a couple errors and maybe clog the bases on in terms of not being able to run them that fast, Kyle Schwarber is your guy. So I think you go out, you get Schwarber, you figure out what's going to happen with the Stanton situation. Again, I mean, he has a no trade clause too. This one's a little different in the sense of if you're going to put him in the outfield, you got to know what you're going to get out there. I think they do. I think they'd be willing to deal with that. I mean, you could have a defensive replacement go out, play the 7th, 8th, and 9th in some of those innings. And if not, I mean, DH him, put Stanton in the outfield. I mean, I don't know. Again, all of these are scenarios that I don't know what the Yankees are going to do. I think that there's going to be a lot of speculation about certain players going there this offseason. But if you ask me, there's just a few of these guys that you have to try and get them. Regardless if you get all 7 of the names that I'm going to mention, you have to try to go out and get a few of them. So obviously with the defensive liability that Kyle Schwarber warrants, he does strike out at a decent clip. But he did hit 50-plus homers last year. So, I mean, again, another lefty that you're throwing in the lineup. I mean, that guy's going to hit upper decker shots. He's going to be in the judges' chambers every single swing. So, we're talking 114, 115 mile an hour off the bat, consistently home runs. So, who knows? Put him in there. Yankees are going to love that guy. Fans are going to love that guy. And I think that ultimately that could be a guy that really just adds a little bit of extra flair to your lineup. So, his contract situation, in my opinion, it's a little interesting, right? Like I have it written down right here that, I mean, I think that he could go anywhere from maybe $100 million to like 125. I mean, he's 33 years old. I mean, you give him a 4 or 5 year deal. So that's my prediction. Anywhere from 4 years, $100 million to 5 years, 125. Again, look, I'm not super stoked to be giving out like contract predictions here because that's not my ball game. But I think it's fun. I think it's an interesting way to go about these things. So that's number 3 on the list. 1, Bregman. 2, trading for Bryce Harper. 3, signing Kyle Schwarber. Now, number 4 on my list. This is a guy that I'm friends with this guy. So for me, it's an easy one. I mean, he's a great guy. He's a great pitcher. He does everything that you need. So if you're into people that throw 100 miles an hour, have insane breaking balls, have a slider that's basically unhittable, then Dylan Cease is your guy. And if you think about it, he's perfect for what the Yankees want, right? I mean, he's one of those guys that typically when you have a healthy Garrett Cole, healthy Carlos Rodon, healthy Max Fried, and then you've got Cam Slittler, or however, Cam, we'll just go with Cam, and then a Luis Hill or Will Warren as your 5. I mean, that is a crazy pitching lineup right there. Crazy starting lineup. So Dylan Cease is one of those guys that I think that would absolutely love to be in New York City. And I think that he fits the mold perfectly in terms of what the Yankees starters usually look like. I mean, they have guys that throw upper 90s. They have a pitching staff that they use to really just make people look bad. So I think you got a nasty pitcher in him. He can eat up some innings. He can throw that slider all day long. So, and Dylan is a little bit younger. I mean, I don't know Dylan's exact age. I think Dylan might be like 30, maybe somewhere around that. Again, I'm not perfect with these things. I didn't write his age down. I just know that he's pretty close in terms of me. I think he's 1 year younger than me, so he might be 29 or 30. So I think Dylan gets anywhere from like 5 to 7 years. I think I have written down 120 to 150 million. I don't know in terms of If the Yankees will go after him, I don't know. I don't know. I would love to see them go after him. So, Dylan Cease at the top of the list for me. I would love to see that. I've seen some rumors that the Cubs might go back and get him. The Cubs did draft him. The Cubs traded him. I think they've thought like, wow, what could have been? So, might have to fight off the Cubs over there in Chicago if you want my boy Dylan Cease, but he could be a great addition. So, Dylan, number 4 on my list. Before I move on to the next name, I need to establish one thing. Off-season work isn't just for the Yankees. I've been putting my own work lately, and Vuori's been a part of it. Let me show you what I mean by that.
All right, guys, we're hopping in here to give a shout out to the first sponsor of this podcast, which is going to be Vuori. Vuori is designed to look great beyond the gym, whether it's running errands, heading to the office, or meeting up with friends. Whether it's like a Saturday afternoon and you're going to run errands, or you're going to the gym and you want to work out, like this stuff is breathable. We've actually been playing pickleball in some of the gear. Like that's where we're utilizing it the most. And Vuori is an investment in your happiness. For our listeners, they're offering 20% off your first purchase. Get you some of the most comfortable and versatile clothing on the planet at vuori.com/LATS. That's VUORI.com/LATS. Exclusions apply. Visit the website for full terms and conditions. Not only will you receive 20% off your first purchase, but enjoy free shipping on any U.S. orders over $75 and free returns. Go to vuori.com/LATS and discover the versatility of Vuori clothing. Exclusions apply. Visit the website for full terms and conditions.
All right. Now back into the roster moves. This next name might shock everybody. Now, number 5 is one that I think is interesting. Interesting in the sense of if you look at other people's predictions on how much money he's going to get, it's up there, guys. I've seen 500 million, I've seen 350, I've seen 450. This one in my opinion, the reason why I have him at 5 is for how much money he's going to probably demand. Now, is it warranted? Is it not? I don't know. I'll let you guys figure that out. But Kyle Tucker is one of the best overall players that you could sign with the Yankees. But golly, that guy's going to eat the entire payroll. So that could be an interesting one. If we're talking anywhere from 8 to 10 years, I've seen in the $450 million range. Now, I don't know if that's warranted. I don't know if it's unwarranted. Again, he could prevent guys like Spencer Jones, guys like Jason Dominguez from playing. So if you're a Yankees fan that wants to see one of the youth players get their opportunity in the Bronx, Kyle Tucker might prevent that. But it's up to you guys to determine if you think it's worth it. I mean, I don't know about this one. I really don't know. I think that if you were to go out and you were to land a few of the other guys that I mentioned beforehand, Bryce Harper's one of those guys. And if you don't trade Ben Rice for Bryce Harper, then we're talking Bryce Harper can play the outfield a little bit too. So, but Kyle Tucker is going to make it extremely hard for some of your young guys to break through. He also would probably make it extremely hard for you guys to go out and sign a lot of people. He's going to eat a lot of that money if some of these contract predictions are true. Like I said in the last episode, you don't want to go out with a $5,000 budget and buy a $4,900 purse at Louis Vuitton and only have $100 left for a couple of boo-boos to put on the purse. That is what I meant. Kyle Schwarber is that purse from Kyle Tucker is that purse from Louis Vuitton that will eat your entire budget. So that's why for me, he's coming in at 5. I know that he's probably one of the best players on this list, but it's just a high risk, high reward type scenario. So number 6, this is a good one. This one's really interesting to me. Pete Alonso, huge power hitting first baseman, has plenty of experience in New York. Could be a scenario where, you lost Juan Soto to the Mets, but you got Pete Alonso from the Mets. It could maybe make people forget about some of these players that I'm talking about. I mean, he is a guy that he's got passion, he's got fire, he's got a lot of power. So go out, try to sign a guy like Pete Alonso. I mean, I saw reports saying that Hal Steinbrenner liked him, and I was like, shocker. Like, I don't know how that's even news. I mean, I feel like it's hard to put something out there that's any more obvious. I feel like every single owner, GM, player, everyone would like Pete Alonso. Maybe you don't, but I think that you'd like him on your team if you're looking for production at the first base slot and a solid 3/4 hole hitter every single day. So Pete Alonso is, again, one of those guys that has risen to the top. I mean, he warrants another contract that's huge. He's going to be opting out of his Mets deal. He's going to be looking for a new home. So I don't know what the Mets are going to do. I don't know if it means that the Mets are going to try to give him a bigger contract than what he's opting out from. I don't know if he's just doing that to try to go back to the Mets. Again, you never know with some of these situations. Players want money, players want stability, and players want to win. And so in New York, both teams need to win. So could be interesting. Could be really, really interesting to go from the Mets to the Yankees, given the fact that we watched one of the Yankees' favorite players go from the Yankees to the Mets, and there was just outcry all year. So could be a good haha gotcha moment to get him back. So I would like to see Pete Alonso try to find his way into the Yankee pinstripes. I think that one would be extremely interesting. So if we're talking contract extensions, I think that Pete Alonso is in the 30 to 31-year-old age. So, again, in real life scenarios, Pete's young. In baseball scenarios, maybe some of these owners and agents or owners and front office people are going to be looking at him like he's not necessarily super young, but he's got really good years left in him. I have written down in my docket maybe 6 years, 175, or 5 to 7 years in the $150 to $200 million range. Again, these are my guesses. I have no idea. I'm just giving you what I think. So, number 7 is the last player on the list. Now, this is going to be one that's probably pretty hard to get, but if you think about it, he might be one of the most important ones to get. He plays a premier position. He plays a position where the only thing you saw all year was people bitching and moaning. He plays shortstop. Bichette. Now, one of the reasons why I think it'll be tough to get Bo is he's in the World Series right now. He's also on a team that he's been his entire career with, and in his walk year, it happens to be the year that they're in the World Series. So if the Blue Jays go out and win this World Series, which, by the way, it's tied 1-1, they're going to have massive amount of money to spend. I mean, I know that even if they don't win it, they're still going to have money to spend, and you would think that Bo is going to be one of their high priority guys, but I have him at number 7 on my list. I might need to think about this one in terms of what do I think the Yankees need the most? He could be up there at number 2. He probably should be up there at 2. Maybe he should be up there at 1. I don't know. I just have him at 7 because, again, I don't think it's going to be high likelihood that they get him just because I think that he probably would go back to the Blue Jays. And, I mean, if you think about it, sometimes these players just they just love being where they've been the entire time. So Bo's beloved by the whole Canadian fan base. And so you can't think that he's going to just leave them automatically because he's a free agent. And again, he's going into his walk year and they're in the World Series. But the Yankees significantly need an upgrade at shortstop. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what anybody's going to do there. So it's tough to think that they're going to just go out and get this guy and all's going to be well and yada, yada, yada. But if you have a chance to go out and Bo Bichette's expressing interest, his agents are expressing a bit of interest, he's got to be one of the guys at the top of the list that you think about. Premier position, young guy, hits for average, has power, can play defense, and you need an upgrade at shortstop. So Bo Bichette is another one of those guys that I have no idea what his contract is going to warrant. But in the docket, I've got about 7 years, close to $200 million. Again, I'm not the guy that should be throwing out predictions. I'm just the guy that's trying to play devil's advocate. So, as you guys know, every single one of the players that I just mentioned, they all have swag. And speaking of swag, I'm going to take a chance to go out and thank our sponsor for the day, Vuori. Vuori has sponsored the podcast, and they're predicting that the boy is going to do good numbers. So thank you to Vuori for going out and sponsoring this podcast. With that being said, let's get into it. I mentioned a lot of heavy hitters. I really did. And this is interesting to me because, right, like I'm talking about guys in the sense of signing them, potentially trading for them, going all out for them, and just overall trying to give your team the best possible chance to win next year. So, all the numbers that I threw out, I mean, we're talking well over $1 billion if the Yankees were to sign this offseason. So, I mean, we've seen teams do that in the past. I mean, I think the Dodgers did it with Otani and then a couple of the other teammates that they signed that year. But I don't see that the Yankees are going to sign all these guys. So, I think something fun to do would be if I were to say of the 7 players, the ones that I think that they need to sign the most, I've got Alex Bregman. I've got Dylan Cease up there. And I want to say Bo Bichette, but I just feel like it's really hard to get him. I don't know if you'll be able to pry him away from there. He's a free agent, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Bo Bichette's on that list with a bunch of asterisks just because I don't think it's going to be like a scenario that they get him. I mean, unless he really wants to turn an entire country against him and come to the Yankees and do that, go for it. Money talks. So who knows? So again, Bregman, Dylan Cease. I think that you got to go for Pete Alonso. I really do. I think you lost Juan Soto to the Mets. You got to go out. You got to get their guy. And you got to, you got to get your lick back, you know? I think the Yankees could pull that one off. I think they'd have enough money to go out and get all these guys. I mean, I think there's some other other not as fancy free agents that they can go out and get. But we're talking about the best players, in my opinion, on the free agency market. So if you imagine a scenario where the Yankees do get Dylan Cease, Alex Bregman, Pete Alonso, and then a few other guys that get sprinkled in, that's a big upgrade, guys. I mean, your third baseman is Bregman. Your first baseman is Pete Alonso, and then you have a starting pitcher of Dylan Cease that's a front line starter, and then you get all those guys that I mentioned, Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, Max Fried. You get those guys, they're all healthy and Cam. That's a scary lineup to face, a scary rotation to face. So I don't know. I mean, I'm dreaming on a crazy offseason. I'm hoping that there's a crazy offseason to be had for the Yankees, but it's tough to think that all 7 of these guys find their way into the Yankees roster. But again, I mean, I could be wrong. I think that if the Yankees really want to go for it, they do. I think if they were to maybe trade a couple of the guys that might be eating some bigger salaries, things could be more plausible. Like if someone were to go out and take Ryan McMahon, I'm not trying to pick on the guy, but I don't love that trade. I don't love the fact that $32 million owed over the next 2 seasons is what they're paying for that, because I think that if you think about it in terms of if that's a reason why Alex Bregman's now on that roster, then you fucked up. So that's just the truth in my opinion. I think you'd have to get rid of him. I think if you get Bo Bichette, then you really, really, really fix that Anthony Volpe situation, given the fact that they said that he's going to start the year on the injured list or at least in a rehab assignment. You give him a chance to get healthy. He could be the best backup shortstop that you have in the big leagues. Or he's got options to go down to AAA, get it right, figure it out down there. You get Dylan Cease, and you put him in the rotation. I keep calling it lineup. You put him in the rotation, and you have some dogs. So, again, those are just 3. If you were to get all 7, oh, my God. I think that the world would burn down if we got all 7 of them on the Yankees. Saying we, but if they got them on the Yankees, I mean, I'm Alex Bregman, Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, Dylan Cease, Kyle Tucker, Pete Alonso, and Bo Bichette. That would be a completely new lineup. This is not going to happen. If it does, holy shit. I mean, mark them down as the World Series favorites immediately. It would be jumping in the Bronx. So, that's my predictions. Not my predictions. That's my hopes. I'd love to see majority of these moves happen. I think that a lot of people out there would agree. These are my top targets. Love to hear what you guys have to say in terms of players that you'd like to see in the lineup. Tell me as to why you want them there. why you don't want them there, what you think is going to happen. I mean, we've got so much time before contracts are going to be offered in baseball. So why not have some hopeful moments and hope that the Yankees go out and at least get a few of these guys to give us something to look forward to next season. So that's about it for life after the season. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. And thank you for watching.